Well, let's answer this question once and for all. What are the best investments that a student can do or a Gen Z? I repeat, what are the best investment a student or a Gen Z can do? That's the question that a lot of people tend to ask me. I get inbox from people who are in universities, colleges, young people who, are outside and asking me, hey, Joseph, I'm a young guy. What investments can I venture on? And that's what I'm going to share with you. Now, first of all, I'm going to ask you first question. First question is, do you have money? Okay. When I say do you have money, well, definitely I know you have. That's why you've paid your last bill. Now, the question is, when I say do you have money, like, do you have a continuous source of cash that is coming in? Yes and no. Probably you have a source, but it's not predictable. It's unpredictable. Number two, if you do not have, then it means, talking of investment, it might not be the language that you need. You can, by the way, there are two types of investment if you didn't know. Okay, there is outside investment, and then what we call self-investment. And I don't know why most of the people tend to think investments has to do with the MMF, bills, bonds, shares, businesses, what have you, buying a car, do you know you can invest in yourself? I had one client who approached me, a certain guy, a university student. He told me, Joseph, I only have 5K. I don't have any other money, and I would like to invest. I asked the guy, how old are you? He said, I'm 20 years old. He was 20 years old, and he asked me, what do I do with this 5,000? And right now I'm in university for the next 3 years, and I just don't have like a lot of time to do things. Then I said the guy, you know what? This 5,000, invest in yourself. He asked, hey, does it mean I buy clothes and something like that? No, I said investing in yourself. I asked him, what skills do you possess outside that what you are being taught in university? He told me he's doing economics and whatever I call statistics. Kenyans can relate to that particular course. And I told the guy, truly speaking, I don't want to discourage you, but the fact remains, I know a lot of people who are outside here, they don't have a job with that course. I'm not saying you'll never get a job. I'm saying the chances are very limited. So outside that particular skill that you're going to acquire after 4 years, what other satellite skills do you have? He said, zero. I said, thank you. Now, when I say invest on yourself, you can take this 5,000, purchase a course. He said, why would I purchase a course yet I can get that skills in YouTube for free? True, there is that option. But when you purchase a course, that course is organized from the introduction all the way to possessing the what? The professional skills. And in that process, you can actually watch again and again and again, and you can have this. You can even decide to resell that thing, although I don't think that is actually legal. Anyway, the point is this. When I say you can, by the way, I discourage you reselling someone's course. It's not good. Now, the point is this. If you have this 5,000, you can decide to buy a course. You can buy a course about graphic design. You can buy a course about artificial intelligence. You can buy a course about, say, web development. You can buy a course about using, by the way, did you know that you can actually possess skills about, what do you call this second package on computers? It's called Excel. If you can become a professional Excel user, do you know you can be paid a lot of money? And spreadsheets, you can earn a lot with those data analysis. You can actually make some cash. Anyway, the point is, if you're a student, that thing that I'm talking about, if you're a Gen Z, those are the things that you should be talking about. This is the high tech. You can even invest this. By the way, you can invest in learning crypto. True, if you're a young person. You see, for older people, you can't tell them to go into the crypto hasn't, it's still a wishy-washy kind of thing. Some people be like, you know what, we don't understand it. But if you're a young individual, you can invest 5,000 learning. Listen, I did not say you buy crypto. I said invest 5,000 learning crypto. I had to sit somebody down for them to teach me what is cryptocurrency. He was explaining about the blockchain, it cannot be altered, it cannot be changed, Then I was like, okay, I never thought about that. I had to be explained by an individual. So you can invest this 5,000, learn about cryptocurrency, because for God's sake, United States actually, under the Donald Trump, depends on when you're watching this video, under the Donald Trump, as the 47th president of that country. He actually, I don't know whether he said it can be the new gold or digital gold, or I don't know. He did something about crypto, which is big, and I'm seeing it becoming a big thing in future. So you can invest on crypto, learning about it. Once you understand it, then you can invest. But you people, you rush into investing before you understand it. Another investment that a young person can do is to invest in themselves. Invest on your skills. If you invest on communication skills, for example, you might have this 5,000, 2,000, pay for that seminar where somebody, like we have Kenyan who are very good teachers of public speakers, like Walubengo. You can go to their, seminars, sit down, get to be taught. How do you express yourself? How do you communicate? But then you'll be shocked to realize that how you communicate can help you to make money. It is true. Do you see these people usually invited to high schools and talk to students, motivate them, call them inspiration, call them motivational speakers, whatever. They make money at the end of the day. So you can do that. By the way, do you know it's a business, being in a business of advising people who are in business. It's a business on itself. You can't be like that. Look, somebody like Vusi Thembekwayo, this great South African guy, he walks all over the world. Recently, he was in Kenya, he was in Sarit Center. Did you attend that particular session? He was talking about investment, growth, and what have you. It was actually a youth seminar. Do you attend that? Or you see people putting those billboards somewhere and you're a youth and you don't even want to attend that. Those are the investment that you take. I know we've talked about, what do you call them? The MMF, the shares, and what have you. Those one you can invest. There's nothing wrong. But there's some investment that you can do outside those that can pay you a lot of money in future. That is investing in yourself, investing in understanding these particular areas and these particular things. Then that's how you grow yourself to the next level. Now, let's go to the most practical investments that anyway probably you might be looking at. Okay, number one, you can actually invest on businesses. Okay, I would highly recommend a young individual to get themselves a hand into the business. When I say into the business, first of all, listen, there is a wrong concept how people get into the world of business. People usually ask the question of what business can I do? What is the best idea that can actually work in a setup of of a university or a college or something? That's a wrong way of asking the question. I would highly recommend that you ask a question on a perspective of what problem have I identified in this particular area where I come from? Do you remember, by the way, I would highly recommend that documentary. I think it's on YouTube. The boy who invented water. Something, I don't know whether it's invented. I don't know that I'm framing it correctly. It's actually a guy, I don't know whether it's in Zimbabwe or was it in Malawi or which is, it was so inspirational watching. It was actually, it's a documentary based on true story. A boy who saw the people were struggling, the farmers, the land was going dry and what have you. He used, I don't know whether it was a kind of makeshift windmill, and then he sort of like, I don't know, just a way of like sort of getting water from the ground. The windmill pumps the water was on the ground, and farmers can be able to do. If that guy had decided to monetize that, then say, hey, you know what, every farmer who uses the water that comes from my own machine that I've invented, I need 10% of your harvest. Then he has like 1,000 farmers with several bags. That guy is a billionaire. See, simply inventing or rather monetizing that skill that you have. Now the point is, when you ask what business can you do, please don't look for businesses, look for problems and solve them. If you realize that where you usually come from, students are complaining about unavailability of decent hotels where they can actually eat. When I say decent, I don't mean like expensive ones. Or students are complaining, you, including you being a student, you complain. For example, right now, Kenyans complain about, hey, there's no jobs. Then, what if you get into the business of educating people how not to be job seekers, but job creators? And you solving their problem, you're solving their problem. And then in the name of solving their problem and actually solving their problem, then they can pay you doing that. Sometimes I usually wonder, how can I tell you this? Because see, when we will go to heaven, God will ask me, did you tell them? Yes, I told them. Oh my goodness. Most of the Africans usually complain about pastors are wealthy. They are very rich. Why? Why don't you open your eyes and see the concept that they are using? They are using the concept of taking advantage of the problem that you're complaining about. You go to a pastor, you tell them, hey, pastor, I've not eaten, I've not done that. They tell you, receive, do this, tithe, plant the seeds, you receive, you receive. So because you need that, that's how you're manipulated by, well, there are good people, there are good pastors, with all the due respect, I'm a believer, but there are other funny people inside that particular formation. That is exactly what happens. Look at the way your politicians do. They know you don't have a job. So what do you think they're gonna use as a politicking tool? It is the concept I will create jobs. See, when you tell people I'm going to solve the problem that you're having, then they will give you that what they have, then you will have it. Then they go for 5 years, they don't even know how to create jobs, they are confused. They don't even, by then, you might be shocked to realize that even politicians don't even know how to create jobs. Politicians don't create jobs. Business people and the investors, the entrepreneurs are the ones who create jobs. They don't know. They know nothing. They know nothing. Most of them, at least, or at most, should I say. So now, look for the problems and solve them. Are we together? I come from this particular place. Wow, I've realized that the students are walking too far from a place whereby, for example, where I used to go to school in Maseno University. And if you're watching from Maseno University, there are places where we used to live and it used to be very, very risky. You find like our baby girls could not, when I say baby girls, I mean our beautiful ladies were not able to actually walk at night. You find some ladies can even sleep hungry. Maybe she had an online session or she was busy. It's night, she can't go to buy supper. And at times I was thinking like, hey, you know what? How about I make an investment here? I have like 5 guys, strong guys, we offer securities. If you'd like to work at night, if you'd like to go somewhere, hey, you can pay us like say $2 or $1 or something like that, or you can have several of you come together, then we take you there. Like just a way of me trying to solve, because I'm trying to solve the issue of insecurity. How can you make money out of that insecurity? And then you make sure that you're offering security to those people. They go do their things, and that is how you do as a young person. Now, the other thing I would highly recommend for a young individual is to simply go into the investments like the stocks. Okay, or we call them shares, or you can call them equities. Okay, now what do I mean by this? See, when you talk about shares and equities, is simply where you get into the involvement of a company. For example, I'm making this video at around March of 2025, around 20-ish there, and companies have actually announced in Kenya, company has actually announced the profit that they made. They have actually increased. They say 20% increase in terms of profit. So like in a month's time, I'm expecting to be paid dividends because I'm a shareholder of several companies. And some of the companies in Kenya, you can buy with as little as $2. That's like 200 shilling, with as little as that. So if I know you're a student, you're a Gen Z, you don't have that huge cash off by your end, then you can decide to, by the way, if you ask me, if you're a Gen Z, if you're a young individual, buy these stocks like a crazy person. Just buy them. Buy these shares like a crazy person. You get your 400 buy shares, you get your 800 buy shares, you get your 3000 buy shares, buy shares, buy shares. Just buy shares. Accumulate them. Don't be on a business of looking, hey, which is going down, which is going up. You know what? I bought with 2000 now. It's actually down with 100. It's now at 1800. No, please just shut buy. Of course, with a research, your stockbroker can advise you what shares to buy. Accumulate, just accumulate. You are in a phase of accumulation, just accumulate. By the time you're clocking 24, 25, 26, by the time now the idea of marrying, if you're going to marry anyway in one way or the other, you have yourself a very big portfolio. That, for example, there are students who actually joined university last year in September. I told them, guys, you know what? You're going to university, I want to give you a challenge. Get to that university, invest in 2 areas, money market fund and shares. Accumulate money in a money market fund, and then accumulate stocks on shares. By the time you graduate, you're having yourself 20,000 a month, 25,000 a month, 30,000 a month. And you'll be looking for jobs if you need to, of which you are not necessitated to do that, but at least you'll be having something that is making some cash outside that what you studied. And that is exactly how you kill poverty. That is exactly how you propagate yourself to the next level. So I would recommend go the stocks way, equities or shares. Go the business way, start a venture, start a business somewhere, right? You can start alone, or you can, come together as young guys and start a small business somewhere. I have some guys who are telling me that they started a small, okay, in Kenya we call it hotel, but it's a kind of restaurant, where people can come and eat and what have you, okay? Now, the other thing, you can actually invest in yourself. When I say invest in yourself, invest in knowing. Invest to know, to understand. That is also an investment. Okay, if you guys can be able to invest in yourself, it can actually pay you a lot, even more than this. Because when you become a mastery of something, people will be fighting to pay you to tell them. What if today somebody crops up from nowhere and he's legit, or she's legit and tells you, I have a solution on how we can eradicate youth unemployment. This is how you can get out. Even countries in Africa will actually pay that individual to solve that problem because it's a menace. It's a pandemic that we are facing. Learn to arm yourself with skills. They say the more you learn, the more you earn. Of course, the vice versa is also true. So as a young individual, those are the areas I would highly recommend that you invest, and you're gonna get something. I truly assure you that. I did that, and here I am, still going. We give glory to God. This is Good Joseph, and as always, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you hit that like button, and make sure that you leave a comment on the comment section. How about we see each other in the next video? See ya.